This is how you can get a faster 40 time by mastering a quick and explosive first step and an aggressive, precise drive phase or acceleration phase. In the last video I did, we went over the setup stance for a 40-yard dash. The link is in the description below. Go watch it after because it's just as important as this video, because with a bad setup, you're not going to have a good start. Before you even take off, you want to take a deep breath and brace. This step is skipped so often. Take a big breath and brace like someone's going to punch you in the stomach. Bracing your core before you start will allow you to push out harder and faster. You can't be explosive without a tight core. When you push out into your first step, you're looking at projecting yourself out into about a 45-degree angle from neck to ankle. Your back arm, loaded up by the side of your hip, should aggressively snap forward and through. And already at the beginning here, we're getting some real details that are gonna be hard to find anywhere else on a 40, and they are game changers. When your back leg or foot comes off the ground as you go into your first step, you want to keep it low to the ground, a low recovery foot, punching the knee out in front of the hip in the straightest line possible, as you see here. What people all too commonly do is they snap the back foot up and under their hip immediately. Then the foot tracks or knee tracks out in front of the hip into position. In doing so, your first foot contact is going to be more out in front of you versus underneath, causing a braking or slowing force that will reduce your initial speed. This type of motion does several things to slow you down. Think of it as 3 points of motion in relation to the foot. Point 1 being the ground, point 2 being on your butt or hip, and point 3 out in front. This in comparison to a better first step, which has 2 points of motion, as you can see here. Point 1, the ground, and point 2 with the foot and shin tracking in a straight line right in front of the hip. 2 points of motion is faster than 3, which allows for more space between the foot and the ground, more time, the capacity for more force, and a better foot contact on the first step. If you're really looking at shaving off some time for your 40, record yourself and compare it to what you see here. This is correct and more efficient versus this, which is never going to work out as well. Here is a great visual. Michael Drack on Instagram posts these all the time. Sorry, hopefully I said your last name right. I'm also for sure tagging you this and hope it's okay that I'm using your video. His Instagram is in the description below. Go check it out. He's great. You want a low heel recovery, as you see here, to whereas the foot stays low to the ground. What you don't want is this. I think the lines on the board here really help pull this all together. When done correctly, your first step should look something like this. Knee up to almost the height of your waistband, toe towards your shin, and your back leg fully extended, pushing you out at about a 45-degree angle. Your arms should be snapping out, bent, and quick. One thing you don't want to do that's commonly done is you don't want to snap your head up or back. Coming out of your first step, you'll proceed into a drive phase or an acceleration phase. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to call it an acceleration phase because you want to think of it as getting up to full speed as fast as you can, or accelerating. Here is one of my favorite tools and a great way to think about your acceleration phase. I call it the 5 B's of acceleration. Imagine you have a piece of glass sticking out from or just below your waistband of your pants or shorts. While maintaining a 45-degree angle and a strong flat back, you want to punch your knee up to hit the glass. The first B being break the glass. Then after you break the glass, immediately think break the ground. In doing so, this will create a big movement that will allow for more force. More force when applied in the ground will equate to more speed as long as you stay on the balls of your feet and bounce your foot off the ground. So it's break the glass, break the floor. This will create a big movement, strike the ground on the ball of foot, all while bouncing. You want your foot to bounce off the ground or floor because in a very general sense, it'll allow for more force to come back to you. Your foot contact at all times should never consist of you hitting your heel. I'm also not a huge fan of the cue of staying on the ball of your foot. I think an easier visualization is I should be able to stick my fingertips underneath the back of your shoe at all times. The acceleration phase is going to be between 10 and 20 yards depending on your capabilities, but the objective is to get up to full speed as quick as you can. During this phase, you want to maintain a 45-degree angle as long as possible while maintaining good technique and good ground contact with your foot. Then over time, later in acceleration, you will slowly start becoming more upright, but it should be gradual. Think of it like a wave. You slowly or gradually start to become upright. The foot again during this phase should not be snapping up towards your butt. It should be more in a piston-like motion, driving the shin up and down in a straight angular line versus the leg or foot cycling. That cycling or circular motion will happen later in the sprint, when you get past your acceleration phase and more into top end speed or max speed, which we're going to go over in the next video. Also, here's Michael again with a great visual. This is how your legs should be moving during acceleration phase. As you can see here, there is a straight line at about a 45-degree angle, and both the lines are straight. Versus this, when you become more upright, it's creating more of a circle on the board behind him. Arguably, most people when it comes to the 40 are super worried about their drive phase, acceleration phase, or the beginning of their sprint. But actually, I think athletes should be just as worried, if not more worried, about their top end speed or max velocity mechanics. That's because the technique isn't incredibly simple, isn't often taught, and isn't just, oh, I'm going to sprint sprint fast. A lot of athletes, when they actually get up to speed in their 40, they have really bad mechanics, and that's why there's a lot of pulled hamstrings because they're hitting their heel on the ground. And that's why you want to watch the next video, as I've already said way too many times, but it's super important because you need to learn that technique. The next video should be in the description below. If not, it's because it's coming out after 1 to 2 weeks of this video coming out. Also, the start setup video is definitely down there. Go check it out. This channel, if you've yet to subscribe to it, basically what I do is put out precise, simple, effective sports performance ideas or concepts that you can utilize to be a better athlete. Comment any questions, I will answer, and thank you.